Go ahead, brother.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I hear that there's a lot of misconceptions going on about the American Indians or the Aboriginals, or what I like to call the Niji, and these Moors. And I think there's misconceptions about who we are, as it very was from the beginning for real. Everybody's perception on things is different. They've been twisted and turned, and people have no idea what's going on. But no, Moors have nothing to do with America. In fact, when you go back and look at historical records or either historical primary sources, it verifies that a Moor is a person is an Iberian person from the land that used to be called Mauritania. Okay, now where that term come from, the Moor was used by the Romans at that time. They were speaking about all of those people, all of the Iberians in Mauritania. Mauritania is now called Algiers, Tunis, and Morocco. Okay, and we know that is the northern coast of Africa. And that's what people need to understand, that yes, that automatically lets you know that it has nothing to do with America. In fact, you can go back to, like, for example, the definitions of the term Moor, the original definitions of the term Moor. Go back to, I encourage you to utilize Webster's English Language Dictionary, Noah Webster's English Language Dictionary, 1828, use that one. Or you can go back to his very first one, which was 1807, and they both verified that. I do have a couple, like I have the original Black's Law Dictionary, Volume 1, I paid a good penny for that. I'm going to put that on screen too to show everybody that it was a very, very good find. It was one of my prized things that I'm so glad that I got a hold of, because very rare can you catch the original. And I have the original, okay? I have the original copy of that. And even in the Black's Law Dictionary, Volume 1, it states very similar things, except for it details why the Romans called the Iberians a Moor. It's because of, like, for example, you can actually attest to this if you're familiar with the story that, Christopher Columbus came over here with Iberians. And the reason why those Iberians were called Moors is because they were anchoring the ship. Now, the term Moor can also be defined as an anchor, okay, to a ship or a boat, meaning that it's holding that boat steady in one place while it's floating on water. Okay, so it is mainly a descriptive term describing those particular people of that landmass. Not this landmass, that landmass. And yes, of course, that was Latin, same thing. It was called, that's why I said it was by the Moors mainly. But yeah, it has nothing to do with America. And the reason why I'm trying to state this to you guys now, even though I have before, but the reason why I'm stating this to you guys now is because there's a lot of misconception going on. A lot of people want to gravitate towards this movement, meaning the Aboriginal movement, or whatever you want to call it, the indigenous movement. And a lot of those folks are confused. A lot of those folks are confused when they consider themselves Moors and stuff like that. They have no idea of the history or the background of those particular people. Some of those people were infiltrators. Those were the instigators and infiltrators that assisted Christopher Columbus when he traveled to South America, not North America, and South America. Keep that in mind. And which, we know he was there to be nosy. Basically, he was a spy. He reported it back to the Queen, and hey, there's some people down there, and woo, 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 woo. So we know the story. We don't have to go that far. But yeah, I mean, those are the real Moors. Now, these people here in America that are calling themselves Moorish, keep that in mind. They call themselves Moorish. Though that particular Moor is more of is a Muslim. It's a person of religious belief, a Muslim. It's strictly religion. It's nothing more. In fact, if you notice, those people that are referring to the Moors being here in America can only revert to the Bible in order to connect to their stories. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the Bible. I'm not about to belittle the Bible or nothing like that. I'm not here for that. The reason why I'm stating that is because, it's strictly religious. It has nothing to do with any historical doctrine, verifiable information. In other words, it's a fantasy. Okay? And that's what they understand. That's strictly a fantasy. That wasn't real life. I mean, in certain cases of the Bible, it is. I mean, it was based off of, some of them were based off of true experiences that some of those people had. But I mean, we can go back to the names of the books in the Bible and we can determine if they were either Roman, Latin, English, or a Moor. And we can see for a fact that there is a difference between the two. Now, a lot of people are going to say that we're all the same, and no, we're not. And you can definitely see that right here with what I just explained. And when I get back, I'm going to go into more detail about this. But no, I'm going to tell you right now, Dane Calloway says no, the Moors have nothing to do with America at all. In fact, the United States of America was only recognized by Morocco, okay, as a nation, not a country, not a continent, as a nation, okay? So when you hear the term Moor is also a nation, in fact, okay? A nation of Iberian people, okay? Or Turkish as well. Turkish is involved in it as well. They're interchangeably together right there. But that's mainly it. When I get back, we're going to have a real good discussion about this and putting a lot of stuff on screen. But let me give a couple of sources to people just in case, But once again, I gave them 1828 Webster's English Language Dictionary. I want them to look up the 1807 original version. It's called... it was a something. I forgot the name of it at the top, but it was an English. It was the very first one that Webster released in 1807. And keep in mind that these words that we're utilizing now came from the Webster Dictionary. That's why I always go back to Webster. That's prior to Oxford Dictionary. That's prior to any of these other versions that came up with Webster. And but yeah, you have to go back to where the original English language was written and published without any French influence. Keep that in mind, because he wasn't the first person to release a dictionary. He was the one that was more popularized based off of the fact that he didn't have any French or British assist at that point. He did it on his own, and I think it took him. We can see how long it took him between 1807 and 1828. You do the math. I don't got time for it. But that's how long it took him to release that in full detail as far as his dictionary. Now, prior to that, dictionaries were in encyclopedias, and I can also show you guys encyclopedias of this information being presented, and I'll do that when I get back. But just start there. You start with 1828, go to the 1807. This stuff has been documented of what that means, what that term means. And to gravitate towards that, nowadays, you're mainly calling yourself a Muslim. It just has nothing to do with the nationality or anything like that. It's just mainly your religious belief, simple and plain. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's your religious belief. Like I tell everybody all the time, I don't care if you're a Muslim, I don't care if you're a Moor, I don't care if you consider yourself a Hebrew Israelite or Christian, or it doesn't matter. The point is that it's about the truth. Now, when you're trying to say that we are these particular people of this Bible or the Quran or whatever you want to, throw up, we're not. We're not. Technically, we're not. And that's somebody else that wrote those stories on top of that. We have to write our own story. For a fact that our stuff was infiltrated by a lot of foreigners, was heavily influenced by a lot of foreign activity, a lot of foreign use, which I went over into another video of mine that's on my channel now. Look up foreign use, that's a real term. And people have been indoctrinated here in the Americas by, that foreign influence that has been implemented into our systems, our institutions. That includes churches, and that also includes schools. So yeah, everybody was taught this story, but they never really verified it. Keep in mind, so in order to verify something, you can't just simply Google it. You can't just simply look at Wikipedia and think or expect that to be the truth. You literally have to go find the truth. It's not easily accessible as you may think. And once you come to a realization of that point, then you start to open up your mind a little bit wider, and you start being unbiased, okay? And you'll start looking at the real information, where that other information that you are used to hearing, where it came from. Or, everybody wants to gravitate towards the etymology of a particular word, meaning the history of a word, but they don't necessarily look at the history of the word. You're not really looking at it. Once again, they're dependent on somebody else to do it for them. Say it again.
No, I'm agreeing with you, Dane. It's a lot that they're not looking at, and it's just so sad, But the ancestors is speaking. That's all I can say. And me, I could pick up.
I'll tell them this. Like, for example, when you guys saw, like everybody saw the entire Pan-African community coming at me. And the reason why that was is because of what Pan-Africanism is. That's another religious belief. Okay? So anytime you're going against a religious belief or a religious cult like that, and it's not that the fact that I was going against them, I was just strictly debunking them, but that hurt them. So, that's why you saw people jump. Because I was actually encouraging people to do their own research to find out what's really going on. And once they did that, now look at that Pan-African community. Just take a look at them.
Yep.
Once again, I don't have to brag. I don't have to take credit for anything. My work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not trying to say I'm the first of nothing, but I can say that I single-handedly developed. And I told them it was going to hurt them. That's the reason why they never, ever dropped that money to debate me. Still to this day. But, and once again, and those other brothers that are considering themselves Moors, every time I have a conversation with a brother like that on a one-to-one, they change. They change their mindset. They change the way they're thinking. They change the way they look at life. Because, when you're considering yourself those type of people, you're considering yourself a foreigner.
Hold on. Moorish roots. You got to get out my chat room calling sisters a bitch. Now, all right, I'm done. Hold on, Dane. I got this dude. You would not talk to my sister that way. You're out. You're out. You will not call my sister no fat bitch and all that. This is what I mean. See, we're making them angry because they have an agenda, and that agenda is to get as many people to become national under their paperwork, under their treaty, and it's just not happening. And it's making them angry.
But hold on, Sister Bethy, because that's not even the case with them. They can't even nationalize themselves as a Moor. If that was the case, then you could see Moor being able to be marked in the U.S. Census as one of the categories that you picked.
Correct.
That simple. It's that simple. A Moor is supposed to have dual citizenship if they're here. That means that they should be carrying a nationality ID. Not no membership card, a nationality ID. Not no membership card. I'm going to say this again. Not a membership card, a nationality ID. That's a big difference. Now, if they want to claim that they got recognition by the government, the only way they got recognition by the government is by way of Morocco recognizing them, once again, as a nation. I'm not talking about the United States of America. Not America. We're talking about the government. So that was a government recognizing another government.
Correct.
Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Facts.
So no matter, once again, no matter how they try to spin it, that's exactly what happened.
And they really trying to spread it.
I'm a very good researcher, and I would love for you guys to consider yourselves Moors. If you would love for me to debate your top guy, go get him. I'll do it for free. Go get your top guy. Go get I'm talking about he better have rank. Go get him. We can settle this if you really want to. I'm all for it.
There it is. There it is. So, on that note, tribe, we just gonna keep moving. I'm not interested. I'm not. I'm done. I tried. I made an attempt. I did. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm done.
And really, sister, before we end, the reason I say highest ranking member is that another thing is that these guys gotta understand, when they're no disrespect to these people, okay? No disrespect. But when they're adding the L and the L and the B and stuff like that as their surnames, you're disconnecting yourself automatically to this land. Why? Because those surnames are Turkish surnames. That's number one. No, that's not.
No, I agree.
It's the truth.
I agree. Glennis already read that, but you backing it up again. I agree.
Yeah, we can find this information out, guys. This is really simple, honestly, but there's just certain people that just want to hold on to that because of what they were taught religiously, okay, through the cult that was created at the top of the 1900s with Timothy Drew. No disrespect to Timothy Drew, but keep in mind Timothy Drew is not the end-all, be-all. Neither is Dane Calloway. It's up to you guys to find out the truth. You gotta stop listening to everybody. You gotta know for yourself. And I believe you gotta know. There's a big difference.
Right. I agree.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I agree. I mean, you wrapped it up in a